That's right. It's time for everyone's favorite Twitch politics show, The More Perfect Union. Covering the best in U.S. politics and Twitch political drama, we aim to disarm the left using the Constitution as our spear and shield.
The entire articulation for the use of deadly force is the imminent threat of death or great bodily harm. It has nothing to do with whether or not...
What was the threat?
As a matter of fact...
What was the threat? Are you out of your mind, Gappy? You're out of your mind. Get ready.
The other
clip
thing
this.
is that the cost of enamel paints and Warhammer figures has gone through the roof. When you poll foreign citizens of other countries about our president, they don't vote, and they are not representing the voice of their governments. It is true that a lot of foreign governments are glad that Joe Biden is president because they steamroll his shit left and right every way, 7 ways from Sunday. Matter of fact, twice on Sunday. I care what the American people think.
Okay, everybody, welcome to another exciting kind of episode of The More Perfect Union, live from Newport Beach, California. Today is the day I fly. I'll be making my way up to LAX here in about maybe 2 hours. And I'll be getting on a plane about 6 o'clock tonight, West Coast time, arriving back in Minneapolis around midnight. Yay for fun travel. Last night I talked a little bit about, how people can be better in Twitter spaces when they are more visual. I put myself in that group. I mean, I should post a lot on Twitter, X. And it is infallible to me that there are certain people who operate off of Twitter as a mechanism to generate hate and angst through the use of a free speech platform. Brian and Ed Krasenstein come to mind. Harry Sisson, the clone from Parkland, who got a degree from Harvard. This cat named Suleiman, who was actually, reasonable, right? Reasonable. Khaleesi. These people get on Twitter and then they just purvey filth. And I responded to something on Twitter, and I'm going to find it here in a second. And we're going to go through it. And I'm going to explain exactly why what is happening in Gaza is not genocide. It's unfortunate. It's tragic. Okay? It is terrible that any innocents would lose their life in a time of war. Thousands upon thousands of people died in Korea, died in Vietnam, died in World War II, in World War I. Civilians get caught up. There is a unique distinction about what is going on in Gaza vis-a-vis the Israeli-Hamas conflict. And the primary difference for that is the Israelis are fighting back against terrorism. Hamas embeds itself within its population. Hamas threatens its population. The population of Gaza, indeed the population of the entire Palestinian Authority, is subsumed away from an educational, indoctrinational perspective that Israel is the enemy and must be destroyed. The whole phrase, from the river to the sea, is about pushing Israel off the face of the map and reclaiming that entire area that was actually given to them by the Ottoman Turks. The current residents there are the beneficiaries of the Ottoman Turks. Basically, Palestine, as it existed, was a place for reprobate criminals, much like Australia was to the British. And when people like Khaleesi throw this bullshit up that Israel is participating in a genocide. I'm gonna find the actual tweet and the response. It's difficult because so much garbage flies off the shelves. Let me see if I'll go to my posts. It's a little hard to find your stuff on the webpage version of it. But at least the Krasnstein brothers have taken to doing like video messages and uploading video messages. I guess because it takes a little bit more time to produce them. But they're just as stupid. Anyway, I'm scrolling through this. I'm going to find it. What is this? Donald Trump's grades. Oh, Lord, 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 Lord have mercy. I apologize for the delay. I know the dead airspace is a huge, ugly problem that should be avoided at all potential costs. So somebody was posting a meme, Donald Trump is dead broke. He just posted a $175 million bond. It might be getting close. Yeesh. Nice. What is this? If you live in Pike County, we'd love to welcome you to our team. Not Biden, not my president. Biden is not my president. I got you. This is a campaign poster. Yard signs. Special shout out right now to Scott Pressler, who's in central Pennsylvania, registering people to vote. There is a true, honest, real American individual. These friggin' Republicans, quasi-Republicans, Karl Rove. You know, I used to like Karl Rove. But Karl Rove is a globalist. He's an incredibly horrible person because he is willing to vote for Joe Biden, knowing what kind of crap Joe Biden is. When you see him on Fox News and stuff like that, he's like, well, you know, he's talking about Biden is problematic, but then he goes out and he tries to sabotage Trump left and right. So he's trying to have it both ways, right? He wants to be seen by conservatives as being quote unquote conservative when he's on conservative media, which you could argue Fox News really isn't conservative media anymore. But he's out there constantly pushing these narratives that are designed to cause people to not vote. He's not saying vote for Biden. He doesn't want people to vote for Trump. And I don't know if he's trying to make some sort of a play where he thinks that the House of Representatives is going to, be able to snatch the victory away from Donald Trump, because the House of Representatives can vote for whomever they want. There's 50 states. There's one vote for each state. So if it comes down to that, the Senate will get the opportunity to vote the vice president in. So you could be looking at a situation here where neither Trump nor Biden gets the White House. And I don't know if this is what Karl Rove's gambit is or not, but it's just ridiculous. Anyway, I'm scrolling through. Nice. Somebody wearing a t-shirt, fuck Trump. If you like Trump, fuck you too. I can deal with the sense of humor. Questioning election results is not a threat to democracy, but stealing an election is. You know what? Let me do this. Let's let you see what I'm seeing, and we'll see if we can find the actual quote. I just don't know why. Wow. That's John Kerry's daughter. Yeesh. Yeah. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. What the hell? Dog's having a seizure? That dog's clearly having a seizure. I think if Ukraine joins NATO, it's probably going to be World War III. I just don't see, yeesh, what what they hope to gain by that. I can't imagine Turkey voting for that. Should Texas be allowed to prosecute illegal aliens on their own? Sure. Why not? I think any state, right? I mean, Texas's argument is different than Arizona's. Arizona's argument got shot down. Enforcing federal immigration law at the state level was shot down. Hang on a second. Am I talking to myself with no sound? 1 second. Check. Okay, no, you guys can hear me. That's cool. I just got like 30,000 different sound sources. They're all blocked out. Let me see. It'd be nice if I could. I don't know, man. It just drives me crazy. Let's see. I'm not really following. Well, let me see. Where is she? Hang on. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, well, damn it. It's tough. But I'm looking through trying to find the one link, but it was a banger tweet. Let's see where my tweets are. Click. Here's my replies. This is the problem. Okay, so Kahlissee, Khaleesi. Apparently, she's a Brit because I heard her on Mario's live stream yesterday. So her question. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can do this. So her question is, the world stayed silent during the genocide of Gaza. Okay. Thanks for that. Follow. I'll pull that up here in a second. But I want to read my response because I think this is the right take. And you can agree or disagree with me, and it's not hate speech to call it what it is. But I'll read it. To think you were reasonable last night in Mario space, I guess that only matters when it isn't your religion driving the thought. What is happening in Gaza isn't genocide. It's war. It's a war between Islamism in its radical form, and it's about retribution for an act that should shake the conscience of every human being alive. When you and Suleiman and Mario can acknowledge the need for Hamas to surrender and turn over those who are responsible for 10/7, you might be able to make a moral case for a ceasefire and for peace. Until then, Israel has the right to respond as it has. So that's one. And then Suleiman Ahmed, he posts a meme that says, to the people still supporting Israel, you are by far the dumbest people of all time. This is another one of these freaking loser types. Here's my response. And after I gave you a shout out last night, it's a very common thing, right? So Mario, Suleiman, Khaleesi, a bunch of people like them. They go out and they do these, oh, it's a genocide, or Jackson Hinkle, right, who's a big communist. Anything he can do to try to tear down the West. This is the only focus and goal. And whatever thing they can use to make that attack, they do it. For Mario, for Suleiman, for Khaleesi and others like them, who are obviously apologists for terrorism. This is my response to Suleiman. After I gave you a shout out last night for being reasonable, which he was, and measured in an X space, you go and be dumb again. Israel was there first. There was a ceasefire with Hamas, Gaza, the Palestinian Authority, whatever you want to call them, on 10/6/23. The Palestinians were given land, but their people and leadership continue to insist Israel should be wiped off the map. Hamas grabbed the bull by the horns on 10/7/23. They committed an act of pure, corrupted evil in the slaughter of more than 1,000 Jews. They're getting what they deserve. It's tragic that innocents are caught in the crossfire. It's extremely relevant to point out that behind the innocents are the strategically placed Hamas fighters. They refuse to surrender and continue to vow more violence given the opportunity or given the chance. A lesser point here, but no less relevant, is the one, geez, forgive me. A lesser point, but no less relevant, is one has the right to question how many innocents there really are when mothers cheer the death of their false martyred sons, and when the governing authority actively teaches its children that to kill a Jew is to lie in paradise with 72 highly rapeable virgins. No one should have empathy for Gaza until Gaza herself pulls back from her own sin and throws off the shackles of Islamic terrorism that she herself has been put under by Iran and its proxies. I wish you would stop being racist long enough to understand the complexity of the problem. Now, I truly mean that. I truly mean that. People like Khaleesi, people like Suleiman, people like Mario, they're not interested in peace. They're interested in promoting and fomenting the kind of anger and hatred, ironically, that they were talking about last night on Mario's live stream with respect to a bill that was passed for anti-hate speech in Scotland. It's okay, in their mind, to call the Jews genocidal. But don't you dare call an Islamist that. Now, I'm going to be cognizant. I want to say there's a difference between an Islamist and somebody who practices Islamic faith. Just like there are differences between people who practice a Christian faith or a Jewish faith, but not to the radical extremes. Every religious text between Judaism and Christianity and Islam has a corruptible capability buried within it. And it depends on the mind and the heart of the individual who is reading, or more importantly, who is teaching others what certain passages within the text mean. You can take any form of violence out of any religious text, and that some people are willing to ignore the speck that's in their own eye before casting stones at other people's houses, such as Mario, such as Suleiman, such as Khaleesi, and others. These are the problems that lead to ongoing conflict that will result in a continued escalation of violence for religious purposes. Iran is, from an atomic energy perspective, moments away from a nuclear weapon. And the world has sat back idly by, grabbing the money, seeing the business opportunity of an open market. Meanwhile, religious zealots in Iran, they're going to take that weapon and they're going to put it in the hand. It won't be the leaders of Iran. Oh, God, no. It's not the leaders of Iran who blow themselves up with suicide vests. It's the inculcation. It's the theory that you can convince somebody, if you can convince somebody to drive a tractor trailer next to the Khobar Towers and kill 252 Marines with a suicide bomb, how much easier is it to transport a 225-pound nuclear weapon? Iran with a nuclear weapon is an existential threat to the earth, to the people of earth, to the animals in the animal kingdom, to the plants. As somebody who worked on strategic weapons platforms in the 80s, the world doesn't know what's coming. And when people like Mario and Khaleesi and Suleiman and others like them promote this false narrative that Israel is engaged in a genocide, while ignoring the fact that Hamas reached out and slaughtered men, women, and children, raped women, disfigured women, killed women in front of their children. If you can make excuses for that kind of evil, then you are evil. I sincerely hope something happens in each of these three peoples that I've named, happens in their life that causes them to rethink their approach. Christianity, Judaism, and Islam supposedly share the same God. The only difference is how it's being interpreted. So I'm going to ask each of them and all of us to reach back into ourselves and try to figure out what really is the basis of faith. Is it to promote and protect what is here on this earth? Or is it about trying to come to a better understanding within oneself? We have all fallen short. But there's a difference between making a mistake and trying to own up to it and trying to recognize that there can be a change. And to pull back from the anger and the hatred and the thing that is driving us, political ideology. We can be a better people as a species, but not if we constantly have to rip and tear at each other. And I would submit to you that even though I shitpost like a dog on X, it is 90% plus in response to something else has been said or done. It doesn't make it necessarily right. And it's a poor justification to say that. People need to take account of what it is that they were doing and what they're saying. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and pack my stuff out. I got to get out of this hotel, and I got to get up to LAX. Until the next time, this is the More Perfect Union. Take care. Have a great day.